Welcome to course on Advanced Geotechnical Engineering. This is in module 5 on stability of slopes, lecture 7. So in the previous lecture we introduced ourselves to different slope stability analysis methods, and in this lecture what we do is that we will try to look into these slope stability analysis methods by using some softwares which are basically based on GeoStudio 2012, and this what we are going to demonstrate in this lecture is that how the effect of anchor will be there on the slope stability, and nails, how the nails can increase the slope stability, and then piles as vertical reinforcement, that pile members, the discretely placed piles within the row of within the slope area, and then finally we look into the stone columns. Then we look the seismic displacements of the slopes without any strengthening measures. Okay, so in this particular slide the illustration of the effect of various reinforcement options in maintaining the slope stability are discussed. So the slope stability analysis is performed numerically using limit equilibrium method software, and which is a product of SlopeW by using SlopeW, and is a product of GeoStudio 2012. The following reinforcement options have been considered. One is that anchors, nails and piles and stone columns, and attempts have been made to compare the analysis results with the results published in the literature. Attempts have been made to compare the results with the published literature results. Now the example problem 1, illustration of the reinforcing mechanism of anchors in slopes. This is the theory part we actually have discussed in the previous lectures, according to Kai and Ugai 2003. In this the analysis has been performed on a 8-meter high slope having one vertical, one horizontal slope inclination, and the analysis was performed by using Bishop's method. The properties and configurations which were actually given by Kai and Ugai 2003 were considered. The installed anchors consist of a tendon of having 6-meter length and 32 mm in diameter, and a grouted body of 6 meter long and 90 mm in diameter. That means that entire length of the anchor is actually grouted with 90 mm diameter grout, and the tendon diameter is about 32 mm, and was connected to a rigid circular plate of 300 mm in diameter on the slope surface. So the anchor was actually placed on the slope surface and with different inclinations. So different inclinations were considered. The anchor orientation with reference to the horizontal varied from 0 to 45 degrees, just to see the influence of anchor inclination on the slope stability, and its spacing, that is the spacing along the slope surface. That means that the spacings were actually considered in the range from 1 meter to 3.5 meter. So what will be the optimum spacing, or what will be the spacing effect on the slope stability analysis of slope reinforced with the anchor was studied. So this is the input file for the SlopeW with the anchor used in the slope stability analysis, and based on the calculations and details provided by Kai and Ugai 2003, the tensile capacity was given as equivalent to that of the data which was given, 1500 kilonewtons, and no reduction factors have been given, and the bond diameter, as has been told, 90 mm diameter grout body. So the details have been given. Bond length, that is the entire length is grouted, so 6 meters, and anchor spacing for this example which is actually shown is 1.5, and factored pull out resistance and maximum pull out resistance ranges were actually given there. Now this is the FEM mesh of the slope section showing the anchor installed. This is a cross section of the the slope with anchor, and in this particular example the 30 degrees inclination of the anchor with the horizontal was considered. So as it can be seen here, this inclination with the horizontal is 30 degrees, and here is the plate which is actually placed, and the the slope configuration which is actually shown here. So this is the horizontal distance and this is the elevation, and the model is Mohr Coulomb and unit weight is 20 kN per meter cube and cohesion 12 kilopascals and friction angle about 20 degrees. So this is the analysis was done for comparison purposes with and without anchor. So this is the stability analysis results of unreinforced slope, and for the configuration which is considered, the least factor of safety is obtained by using Bishop's method as 1.061. So the stability analysis results of the unreinforced slope are shown, and this is the zone of the potential failure surface. So this yields a factor of safety of 1.61. Now the similar configuration was analyzed with anchor, wherein in this the anchor is actually inclined at 30 degrees. So the factor of safety which is actually shown here is 1.2. So there is an improvement in the factor of safety for a given type of nail and for a given type of anchor and for a given anchor inclination. And it can be seen here that total resisting moment is more than the total activating moment. So here the presence of anchor enhances the stability and also contributes to the change in the slip surface. That means that the slip surface goes away from the face of the slope. So this can be observed from the cross section which is actually shown here. Now in this particular graph which is actually shown here, anchor inclination with horizontal is plotted on the x axis, and factor of safety which is nothing but the resisting moment by driving moment, which is obtained by Kai and Ugai 2003, and the analysis results were actually compared. So in this the parametric study was carried out, wherein when anchor inclination is about 0 degrees, both the analysis done by FEM analysis was done by Kai and Ugai 2003, and the present analysis found to have good agreement, but the trend which is actually presented, like with an increase in the nail inclination, there is an increase in the factor of safety from 0 degrees. When the anchor inclination is increased, there is an increase in factor of safety, and further increase beyond 10 degrees there is a decrease in the factor of safety. So this indicates that there is an optimum inclination of the anchor which contributes to the the resultant the factor of safety. So here it actually yields both from the Kai and Ugai 2003 and the present analysis by using slope W program. It actually says that about 10 to 12 degrees the optimum about 9 to 10 degrees there is an optimum factor of optimum inclination of the anchor, where there is an increase in the factor of safety, but with an increase in the anchor inclination there is a decrease in factor of safety, and the similar trend was actually also reported by Kai and Ugai. You can see that with an increase in the anchor inclination there is a decrease in the factor of safety. So this lead to instability of a slope. So one need to consider that in the slope stability analysis by using slope stabilization measures. Depending upon the slope configuration with the slope inclination or back slope inclination, and one need to understand that there is an importance of this anchor inclination on the slope stability. It is not that each and every slope has same anchor inclination. That depend upon the type of geometry after due analysis one need to ascertain the optimum inclinations for the given problem. Now in this slide the factor of safety variation with the anchor spacing. So it can be seen that with an increase in anchor spacing from it has been varied from 1 meter to 3.5 meter. At 1 meter anchor spacing there is an increase in the factor of safety was about 1.27, but with an increase in anchor spacing, that is the center distance of the anchor spacing along the length of the slope, it appears that there is a decrease in the factor of safety, and these analysis results are also found to be in agreement with Kai and Ugai 2003. So in this particular slide the anchor inclination is considered about 15 degrees. So for 15 degrees anchor inclination, what it can be seen that there is a decrease in the factor of safety with an increase in the anchor spacing. So increase in factor of safety was observed with the decrease in spacing. So it appears that for a given anchor inclination, the anchor spacing between 1 to 1.5 meter for the given slope inclination and is found to be ideal. And also it depends upon the one also need to consider the position of the anchor also from the distance, that means that where we are actually putting the anchor, that is at the mid distance also. In this particular case the anchor was actually located, a single row of anchors were located in the mid distance of the slope. Now after having discussed the slope stability analysis problem by using anchors, now we actually have discussed about influence of nail inclination and influence of the layout of the nails on the slope stability. This example illustrates the reinforcement mechanism of nails in slopes, and this basically a 10 meter excavated slope reinforced with 4 levels of or 4 rows of nails was considered, and the nails are spaced at 1.5 meter in this example, and they are out of the plane direction, and each nail is approximately about 9.8 meters in length with a bond diameter of 0.35 meter. The inclination of the nail was kept with respect to horizontal is about 12 degrees, and for a difference here the stability analysis was performed by using Janbu's method. So in this particular example the reinforcing mechanism of nails in slopes was is discussed, and it is a 10 meter high excavated slope, and with reinforced with 4 rows of nails, and that is at 4 levels the nails are actually placed. Generally in the case of excavation, as the excavation proceeds, the top down approach is adopted, the nails were installed, and then next level of excavation is done. The nails are spaced 1.5 meter both in horizontal and vertical direction, that is SV is equal to SH is equal to 1.5 meter, and each nail length is about 9.8 meters, that means that about length of the nail is equal to height of the slope was considered, and bond diameter is about 0.35 meter, inclination of the nail with horizontal is about 12 degrees. So this is the typical input parameters for the slope W analysis. The details were actually given in the as an input for the analysis, and this is the the typical cross section of an unreinforced slope section, wherein the properties which are actually taken are 5 kilopascals and 27 degrees is the friction angle, and the slope is having the inclination which is actually shown in the figure with this level at 10 meters, and this is the particular inclination is about 79 degrees, between 63 to 79 degrees with horizontal. Then this is the stability analysis results of the unreinforced slope. It can be seen that for this particular height, what the type of properties which are given, the slope actually has already gone below the factor marginal below the factor of safety of 1. So the stability analysis results of the unreinforced slope cross section is shown here, and which actually implies that the slope has already undergone failure. Now the stability analysis results of the reinforced slope are shown, where it can be seen that nails inclined at 12 degrees placed at distance with 1.5 meter in vertical direction, and you can see that these are the length of the nails which are actually taken, that is 9.7 meters length of the nails, and this is having a 0.35 meter diameter grouted body, and this is the slip surface which is actually obtained. The factor of safety resulting factor of safety is obtained as about 2.158, where the total resisting force is about 1500 kilonewton and activating force is about 700 kilonewtons. So this is about the stability analysis of the slope reinforced with nails. Now this is an example, this is example 3, basically this is illustration of the reinforcing mechanism of piles in slopes, and Essoitz et al. 1997 have given the stability analysis of the slopes reinforced with piles by using friction circle method, and the similar configuration and properties which are actually given by Essoitz et al. 1997 was considered. And this domain comprises a slope of height of 13.7 meter height and angle of 30 degrees. The slope is actually having very flat inclination, one vertical close to one vertical, two horizontal inclination, and the piles are assumed to be of about 600 mm in dia, that is 0.61 meter in dia, with a center to center distance of about 1.5 meter. That means that the piles are actually spaced, as discussed in the while discussing the theory, that the efficacy of this pile stabilized slopes depends upon the spacing of the slopes and location of the piles within the slope. So here it says that the sloping the spacing of S is equal to 2.5 d, approximately the 2.5 d was considered, but the larger the spacing, the piles will tend to behave like a individual individual piles. So when the closer the spacing, there is a possibility that arching develops into the picture. So what will actually happen is that the piles will attract the load in the form of when they undergo, the soil undergoes arching along the the region within the piles, and that prevents the movement of the piles, the movement of the piles, the movement of the slope. So hence the slope stability can be enhanced. So the stiffness of the pile is taken as 16.55 mega Newton per meter square, and the stability analysis was performed by using John Booth method. So this is the cross section of an unreinforced slope, wherein the slope height which is having one vertical having a 30 degrees inclination, the cohesion is about 23.94 kilopascals and friction angle of 10 degrees, and gamma 19.63 kilonewton per meter square was considered. And here this is a cross section of an unreinforced slope, and the pile was assumed to be located at 5 meters from the toe of the slope. There is a possibility that the pile can be located at a distance, from the literature review it has been found out that the location, if the location of the pile is at at the mid distance from here, there is a possibility that there is a good formation of the good reason for having stability of a slope. But in case if the pile is actually placed at the crest of the slope, and there is a possibility that if the slope is actually steep enough, then there is a possibility that it can undergo failure in front of the pile, and the portion beyond the pile may be protected, but the pile with pile which is portion which is actually beyond the pile may be subjected to failure. So the research study which is actually carried out at IIT Bombay reveals that if this is the distance Lx, if this is the distance Lx, and if this is the distance L horizontal distance, when the Lx by L is equal to 0.5 approximately, the maximum factor of safety and maximum performance can be ensured. So this is here the piles are actually placed in a single row, and the space at a 1.5 meter distance. In fact, here also there is a possibility that if the heads of the piles are connected, and then that also contributes to the in additional stability, and sometimes for some applications like in landslides where the deep seated failures are there, the piles are actually installed, and at the upper portion the walls were actually connected, and these are actually called as suppressor walls, and this arrests the movement and rock fall and any other events. So this is the stability analysis results of the unreinforced slope for the given configuration and the properties. The slope, the unreinforced slope factor of safety obtained as around 1.107, and the factor of safety reported by Essoitz et al. Is about 1.08, and the stability analysis of a reinforced slope with pile placed at 5 meter distance from the toe of the slope, wherein it actually says that the the factor of safety has improved and it is about 1.295 in the present study, and as reported by Associates et al. Is about 1.3. So this is actually found to be in good agreement with the results published by Associates et al. 1997. Now after having discussed the stability analysis using piles, and we also said that one of the methods for enhancing the slope stability, particularly the slopes below the berthing structures, where unstable slopes can actually lead to the movements of the soil and then induce lateral forces onto the piles supporting the berthing structure. And this was one of the application where it was used in Kandla and other areas, where this was actually used for increasing the stability of a slope. So we actually have discussed this scheme, saying that if you are actually having piles, if you are having granular piles and which are actually having the granular charge, which is actually having charge sizes from 10 mm to 40 mm to 50 mm, and a well graded mix if it is there is a possibility that the factor of safety can increase. And then we also have discussed that when we use the stone columns to stabilize an unstable slope, the granular piles which are actually placed can serve as a restraining capacity, as well as they actually also have a capacity of having adequate drainage, so that the pore water pressures which are actually possible that they can build up during the the construction of a slope or in the field, they can actually contribute to the dissipation of this pore water pressure, and thereafter there can be an increase in the factor of safety also. So here the slope stabilization by using stone columns, here once again this the theory is actually shown. This is actually one of the patterns of the arrangement where the triangular pattern is actually arranged like this here, and it can be seen that each granular pile or stone column contributes to the certain area. So this is nothing but the diameter of the stone column to the influencing area, and that is called as the area ratio. So here this is for the square layout, and this is for the these two are for the triangular layout. But if you look into this here, when there is a certain load and when you have got stone column material with high stiffness and clay or ground having low stiffness, there is a the stress concentration makes it to attract more force, that is sigma stone and sigma ground try to apportion the load which is actually applied onto the composite system. So by using the method, we can actually find out the the composite shear strength parameters or average shear strength parameters, and the stability calculations are carried out by using the conventional slope stability analysis methods, wherein we actually have assumed that piles the stone columns has individual elements, and also calculated properties by using the average shear strength parameters, where C average is actually obtained as cohesion into 1 minus AR into cohesion of the stone column, but as stone column is free from fines, and so that is equal to 0, and similarly tan phi average is obtained based on the aspect ratio and the other parameters which are actually given. So these are notations have been already been discussed, and these are actually shown here once again in the slope stability analysis of the using stone columns. So the analysis problem which was considered is a slope actually having 13.7 meter height and 13 degrees slope inclination, and the stone columns are assumed to be 1 meter in diameter, and the center to center spacing is about 3 meters, and they are assumed to be in the triangular pattern, and the stability analysis was performed by using Janbu's method. So considering the effect of inclusion of stone columns separately and by taking the respective C phi and gamma and values. So both the cases were actually done. So here what has been done is that we actually have got soil and at number of locations the stone columns placed in within the slope were actually considered, and the respective soil parameters were actually considered. That is one way, but the method which is actually proposed for analyzing this is actually the calculating the average shear strength parameters based on the stress concentration factor and all. So for triangular installation, the influencing diameter can be obtained as 1.05 into spacing. So here the spacing is actually assumed as 3.15 meter. Hence we can actually calculate the influence diameter. So this 1.05 into spacing is 3 meters. So the influence diameter is about 3.15 meters. That is the the each granular pile or stone column caters the area which is which caters the diameter which is equivalent to 3.15 meters, and the area of the column, which is nothing but the diameter of the stone column, is about 1 meter diameter. So pi by 4 into 1 square, which is about 0.7857 meter square, and the area of the soil is 7.8 meter square. So area ratio, which is nothing but A column divided by A column plus A soil. So based on that what we have got is 0.092, and the stress concentration factor is assumed as n is equal to 6, and it actually varies from 4 to 10, but here it is assumed as 6, and the value of m which is actually computed as the area replacement ratio into n, that is stress concentration, divided by 1 plus A into n minus 1, which is obtained as 0.38. So C equivalent is equal to 1 minus A into C soil plus A into C column. So with that what we have got is that 27.24 kilopascals. Similarly the tan pi equivalent is obtained as 1 minus m tan pi soil plus m tan pi column. So this is equivalent to pi equivalent is equal to 17.7 degrees. So these are the the resultant parameters for the zone which is actually influenced by the presence of stone columns in the slope. So this is the cross section of the unreinforced slope is actually shown here, wherein we have the same properties which are actually taken. The properties are clay as actually having C 30 kilopascals and phi is equal to 0, and the sand actually having properties of friction angle of 30 degrees and gamma 20 kilonewton per meter cube was considered. Now method 1 analysis considering the stone columns to be the individual inclusions within the slope, and here 4 rows of stone columns were actually shown here. So this is the zone which is strengthened by the stone columns here, and then by using method 2 the analysis considering the slopes to be homogenized with equivalent values of C and phi with the positions of the stone columns, and the rest of the portions here the properties of that of soil were given, but here in this zone the equivalent properties like C is equal to 30 kilopascals, the C is equal to 27.24 and phi equivalent is about 17.7 degrees was actually given. So then the results are actually compared with without any stone columns, with individual stone columns, and with homogenized equivalent values of C and phi. So this particular figure shows the cross section of a slope with without any stone columns. That is actually an unreinforced slope. The factor of safety is obtained about 1.024. So hence there is a need for improvement of the factor of safety. In the particular example, the slope stabilization by using stone columns was considered. Now here this is the the cross section of a slope which result of a factor of safety, where the slope is considered with the effect of inclusion of the 4 individual stone columns which is actually shown. So where the factor of safety found to be increased, but wherein the factor of safety is obtained is about 1.304. Now this is the by taking the step equivalent properties in the zone influenced by the stone columns. So the factor of safety was found to improve, wherein you have the factor of safety which is about 1.432 with the presence of stone columns. So what with these examples what we have understood is that in designing this slopes with stone columns, first we have to decide what is the diameter of the stone column, and depending upon the method of installation, the type of installation need to be selected. Once it is selected, then we have to see the based on the the stone charge properties and then the gradation, we need to select what is the the possible friction angle for the stone metal which are used in stone columns. The friction angle actually varies from 38 to 42 degrees, and which are assumed to be placed at maximum dry density, and then the proper layout has to be selected. Generally the triangular layout was found to be give uniform improvement in the in stabilizing behavior. So then after having selected, then we have to see the calculate the average shear strength parameters by using the average method which is suggested to get the C equivalent and phi equivalent, and this is depend upon the layout of the stone columns. And if the stone columns are spaced farther and if the stone column diameter is smaller, then there is a possibility that their factor of safety may not actually have much improvement. And when we actually have got this improved area, the zone increases, but there is a possibility that the factor of safety increases for the entire slope. So this is one application wherein the slope stabilization can be enhanced by using this presence of stone columns. So in the particular analysis, what has not been taken is that the presence of stone columns when there is the seeping water or when the slope is saturated, when there is a possibility that these stone columns can also act like drains, and in that case they actually have got hybrid effects. One is called for drainage, other one is for reinforcing the slope. So after having discussed some typical methods of the slope stability, what we try to look into is that how these earthquake loading can affect the slope stability. So in order to investigate the effect of earthquake shaking on slope stability, a coupled analysis was carried out by using two modules of GeoStudio 2012. One is QuakeW, other one is SlopeW, and here a typical slope configuration was selected and was subjected to earthquake loading for about 10 seconds, and the stress generated during the event was investigated by QuakeW and was fed to SlopeW to study the stability of any permanent deformation of the slope. So this particular analysis was carried out by using the SlopeW and QuakeW, and this is the typical slope configuration selected in QuakeW, where the soil slope with the following properties is actually shown here. And this is the input horizontal earthquake record which is actually given, and vertical component of acceleration has been ignored. So here with the time seconds and then acceleration, which is this motion is actually given as an input for estimating for seeing this effect on the the displacements, and then subsequently the factor of safety was calculated. So this is the deformed mesh at the end of the 10 seconds of earthquake load. This is actually magnified by 150 times. So it can be seen that the slope actually has undergone deformations. So the displacements observed at the crest of the slope at selected time intervals during earthquake were actually plotted. So it can be seen that the crest displacements are actually ranging from minus 0.1 meter to plus 0.1 meter because of the subjected to the ground motion. So the variation is actually reported like this, which is computed by using QuakeW module, and this is the displacement observed at the toe of the slope at selected time intervals during earthquake, wherein it actually shows the toe movement is about minus 0.04 meters to plus 0.04 meters, which is actually reported as the maximum here. So after computing the static and dynamic ground stresses developed during earthquake in Quake W, and by using the equivalent linear dynamic approach, the stability analysis was carried out by using slope W, and an initial static stability analysis was performed by using Quake W generated stresses to establish the in situ factor of safety for the slope. And the next what has been done is that the variation of the factor of safety with earthquake shaking was monitored in slope W by using the Quake W Newmark deformation analysis. That means that the deformed configurations were fed, and the analysis was actually carried out by using slope W, and the rate of change of velocity, acceleration and deformation with the time was also studied. So in this particular analysis what has been done is that this is actually found to this particular analysis is found to be very applicable when we are actually constructing say canal embankments for for when you are actually constructing embankments on soils which are actually prone for earthquake. So wherein if the embankment which is actually coming above ground level is about say more than 5 meters, then there is a need for performing this dynamic analysis, and once this dynamic analysis is actually performed, then suppose if case you are actually doing construction by using embankment construction filling above the ground level, and then we have to ensure that the crest displacements or toe displacements are within the tolerable limits even after subjecting to a certain ground motion. In such situations we have to see that if the the subsoil properties are inadequate, then there is a need for improving the subsoil by using an appropriate improvement measures, and then enhance the and maintain the compute the stability analysis with these particular cases. So this was actually done in one of the projects wherein for the canal embankment slopes where it actually has been taken that the limits for this the lateral displacements obtained from the dynamic analysis were actually set like horizontal displacement if at all if it is there, then it has been said that it should not be more than the thickness of the filter which is provided in the canal embankment, and vertical displacement was found to be should not be more than the freeboard which is actually maintained in that particular embankment. So if the displacements which are actually resulted after subjected to dynamic loading, if they are less than these set parameters, then we can actually ensure that the so and so configuration is actually stable against so called the earthquake loading. And if the particular slopes which are actually being constructed either in situ or the slopes which are going to be constructed, then appropriate the stabilization measures like after construction, if they are found to be the analysis was the proper analysis was not done during construction, then if they are found that they are vulnerable for failure, then appropriate slope stabilization method need to be considered and then used in the analysis. So here the slope properties used in the slope stability analysis, the slip surface was specified by using the entry and exit method, and which is actually shown here. Then the initial factor of safety of the slope in static condition is actually obtained as about 1.131. Then this is the particular graph which actually shows the variation of the factor of safety during the earthquake event, where the factor of safety with the time which is found to be like varies with the time. So the lowest factor of safety for the critical slip surface is below 0.8, and that is about 3 seconds. That means that the slope would have already undergone the failure into the shaking, and highest factor of safety is 1.7 at about 2 seconds into the shaking. So that particular configuration might have ensured the high factor of safety, but at about 3 seconds itself it is found that the slope is actually subjected to failure. And the average acceleration during the shaking period, which is obtained as which is plotted here. So in this what has been done is that where the time in seconds is plotted on the x axis with the average acceleration. So the accelerations are in the range of -2 meter per second square to +0.2 meter per second square, and this is actually shown, this is during the shaking period. So variation of the factor of safety with average acceleration. So it can be seen that the factor of safety was found to decrease with an increase in the acceleration, and the yield acceleration is about 0.085, where the factor of safety 1 is actually obtained. The factor of safety is inversely proportional to the average acceleration. So with an increase in the acceleration, the factor of safety, average acceleration, the factor of safety is found to decrease, and the yield acceleration for the given problem is found to be, with the factor of safety is equal to 1, is about 0.085. Now these are the plot, this is the plot which is actually showing velocity variation with the time, and velocity versus time plot during the shaking period is obtained by integrating the area under the curve, and when the average acceleration corresponds to yield acceleration. And these are the permanent observations observed during the shaking. So in this case this time which is in seconds, and then deformation which are actually shown. So the permanent deformations were found to increase but at the end of say third second or so, and then found to be about 0.18 meters, and then which increased it to about 0.237. The maximum value of permanent deformation is recorded as about 0.237. So this was actually obtained by integrating the area under the velocity graph when there is a positive velocity. So within the positive velocity zone, whatever the area which is actually there, and over a period of time that has been integrated to get the different deformation plot. So the permanent deformations observed during the shaking is found to be about this value. So this analysis was actually done by using undrained dynamic deformation analysis. According to Kramer 1996, this type of analysis is only appropriate if there is a less than about 15% degradation in the soil strength due to shaking, and this type of analysis is not considered in cases when there is a large buildup of pore water pressure, which in turn may lead to large strength losses causing soil to liquefy. So in this particular the lecture, what we try to understand is that the slope stability analysis methods, we actually have many slope stability analysis method, like starting from the method of slices, and then extending to the Swedish method of slices, and then extending to Bishop's method of slices, and then to John Boo's method and Sarma's method, and then many these many investigators actually have attempted to incorporate these reinforcement elements within the slopes by modifying the the Bishop's method of slices or John Boo's method of slices. And nowadays there is also the horizontal slide slope analysis methods actually have come, that is called the horizontal method of slices. In some cases, particularly when we are actually trying to do with slope stability analysis by using geosynthetic reinforced slopes, and this is actually applied by many investigators. That is the method of slope stability analysis by using horizontal method of slices. The listeners can actually refer to Shogoli's method in 2000, wherein he actually has presented about the authors actually have presented about the method of slices by using the horizontal method of slices. So now after having considered these methods, and then when different methods, like we have discussed about some information like the nail slopes and anchored reinforced slopes, and then so here also we actually have got different possibilities, like when the anchors are active anchors or passive anchors. For example, active anchors are the example is nothing but the pre-stressed anchors. So in that case there is a possibility that certain type of the pre-stress is induced onto the top surface of the slope, and that actually contributes to the additional factor of safety. Then also these methods can be extended for understanding the deformation behavior, particularly in selecting the proper layout of say nails, where whether what should be the vertical spacing, what should be the horizontal spacing, and what is the nail inclination which is required to be adopted. So if these slopes which are actually constructed are going to be constructed in the areas which are actually prone for earthquakes, then an appropriate dynamic analysis is required to be performed. Then in that case the incorporation of this the analysis can be performed with let us say once we ensure that an optimum nail inclination and optimum layout of the nail, and that particular nail reinforced slope can be subjected to the dynamic analysis, wherein the dynamic with the resultant method of slope stability resulting due to the reinforcement effect of nails, we can see the whether the crest settlements or deformations of the slopes are under control or not. In case if they are not, then there is a requirement for the change in the design. Then we also have discussed about the slope stability analysis by using the stone columns, and it appears that there is a need for doing further work in refining this particular method, particularly by using for slope stability analysis using nails, using stone columns. And the another important application what has been discussed is that the slope stability analysis by using lime piles or lime columns, wherein the limited data is actually available, and particularly for when the slopes like expansive soil slopes, when they are actually subjected to lateral movements, and this is one of the viable options if the expansive soil is actually not having adequate amount of sulfates, then there is a possibility that we can actually consider this using the lime columns for increasing the the stability. So in this particular module of slope stability, we try to introduce ourselves to different methods of slope stability analysis, as well as the different analysis methods, and we actually have solved the number of examples wherein particularly without any strengthening measure and then with strengthening measure. So this actually gives an idea about the importance of this particular module, and where these techniques which were actually discussed can be used for this existing slopes or also for the the new slopes which are under construction.